reacting to the DM, the other players, and the fantasy world around you is something we do constantly when we play Dungeons and Dragons. It's one of the core ways you interact with the game. In combat especially, reactions let you influence the battlefield outside of your own turn. A single reaction can prevent damage, deny an enemy action, or save an ally from disaster. And sometimes, how you use or don't use your reaction can decide the outcome of the entire battle, or even the whole adventuring day. The challenge is that you only get one reaction per round, and reactions often cost additional resources like spell slots or class feature charges. Weighing the available information and gauging the possible outcomes is what lets you decide if you should react and which reaction you should use. So let's learn how to react. Welcome to Pack Tactics, where we make reaction videos. No, you don't! Gator, we react to UA content all the time. Anyways, in optimization discussions, there's a very common sentiment about reactions. A reaction is part of the action economy, and if you're not using it every round, you're wasting value. The idea is that optimal play means maximizing your impact every single round. So we're using our action, bonus action, movement, and reaction. But I disagree with that framing. Using reactions optimally isn't about maximizing impact per round. It's about maximizing the value of the resources you spend over the adventuring day, so your character and your party live long enough to reach the end of the story. I've talked about this in many videos, so it should sound familiar. I've said multiple times that power is power. Using more of your action economy is not inherently powerful. For example, using your reaction to cast Hellish Rebuke technically increases your damage this round, but unless it denies a powerful enemy's crucial attacks, it's usually not a good use of your first level spell slot. And even if you cast it without a slot, it's not a great use of your reaction, because other reactions generate far more value by saving hit points or denying enemy actions. I used similar reasoning when explaining why Spiritual Weapon is a bad spell, especially in 2024. Link in the description for the best one I made. Now, as a mid-disclaimer, D&D is easy. You should do what you and your group finds fun. There's no moral virtue in playing optimally, but if you like hearing a different perspective and understanding why certain choices are strong, well, listen up. This video is sponsored by Kibbles Compendium of Airships and Artifacts. Mr. Kibbles is doing a Kickstarter on a big book themed around a steampunk world with airships. It's got 250 pages of D&D content, and it's compatible with 2014 and 2024 rules. But Kobold, it's called 5e and 5.5 now. Oh, anyways, it's got mechanics for building, fighting, traveling in airships, and it comes with fancy battle maps. There's also these unique artifacts you can find, which are items you can customize. They level up with you, kinda like a class. Think Dragon Wrath weapons, but cooler. There's also a crafting system as well. Guys, there's 2 new classes to play. Yay! Paragon, that's an active martial class which specializes in unleashing unique powers every turn. There's 6 subclasses for it, and one of them lets you turn into a vampire. And then you do vampire things, which is really fun. Oh, don't come to my house. The other class is a summoner, which is a much more table-friendly summoner. And you get to customize your pet and stuff. It's really fun. There's also over 30 subclasses for the core classes and, of course, other classes Kibbles have made. There is so much content. Dozens of feats, spells, and much, much more. Check out Kibbles' Compendium of Airships and Artifacts. He is the absolute master at flooding you with options, which is really fun. So if you like building characters, you're gonna have a blast with this book. Link in the description. Support it. It's good. Back to the video. In difficult games, monsters deal more damage with their attacks than players do with theirs, unless you invest heavily and accept major opportunity costs. Reaction attacks will almost always lose that damage race. Offensive reactions like Hellish Rebuke or Wrath of the Storm deal even less damage. And on top of that, they cost resources. Second, actions are simply more powerful than reactions. So when you use your reaction to mitigate or deny an enemy action, you're often trading your less valuable reaction for one or more enemy actions, which is an incredible deal. But Kobold, defensive reactions cost spell slots, and attacks don't. That's not fair. Very astute, Skater, which is why we need to be able to judge when spending that extra resource is worth it. We'll get to that later. First, let's look at some examples. Offensive reactions are usually inferior to defensive ones, but they do absolutely have a place. Reaction attacks can be a source of Nova damage. They also become much stronger when you combine it with control effects. Like, for example, commands can potentially trigger multiple reaction attacks from your allies. I made a video about that. As for the standard opportunity attacks by themselves, I'm talking without command or control or this and that, just somebody moved away from your space. They deal very little damage, and it's usually not a good use of your reaction. Ideally, in optimization, they should be rare because you should be actively preventing enemies from getting into melee with you in the first place. You take more damage there. And also, you can be baited out of a defensive reaction, which I've seen many times before. As for Polar Master, potentially combined with Crusher, Booming Blade, or True Strike, and 2014 Divine Smite, can significantly increase your DPR and allow you to Nova when enemies approach. With good positioning and teamwork, pushing enemies with Crusher and denying attacks and triggering allies' effects like Spirit Guardians increase the total value of the reaction. It's really good comboing. Just keep in mind that these tactics require opportunity costs during character creation and resource expenditure during play. And here's another thing, this one's my favorite, I love this. With 2014 rules, Warcaster allows you to replace Polar Master's opportunity attacks with spells. Casting Eldritch Blast this way lets you push enemies using Repelling Blast, denying attacks and preceding allied effects, if they're Spirit Guardians or Spike Growth on the ground or whatever. This is known as a Force Lance build. These builds are so unique that they play like a brand new class in the game. It really got me into D&D optimization. It's so cool. This can be extended with the Echo Knight Fighter subclass to generate opportunity attacks at range. We call it a Ghost Lance. I made a video about it. But for an even more detailed article explaining this mechanic, and of course the build, check out Tabletop Builds. I just explained the basics. It's a legendary build. Unfortunately, this interaction doesn't work anymore in 2024. It's so sad. And by the way, reaction attacks in 2024 are just weaker than what we had before. Halfcasters and Marshals really got screwed over. Now here's the best reactions in the entire game. All three of them are first level spells. Shield can deny an entire round of attacks, not a turn or a single attack. And it's providing a +5 AC. It's crazy strong. If this came out today, everyone would scream, "Oh my god! This is super broken!" And you would see Reddit posts about it. And it's true. It is broken. But oh boy, everyone takes it. This is basic baby optimization. Grab shield spell. The other crazy one is Absorb Elements. It massively reduces elemental burst damage. It's also got an additional effect, but Funnily enough, everybody forgets about it. And this is a frequently cast spells against dragons and casters and the really hard enemies. The thing with those elemental damage, or specifically AoEs, is they're the ones that really hurt your party. Anyone who's fought a spellcaster or a dragon especially knows this. And a lot of these effects provide half damage as well. This spell halves the damage. Even if you succeed on the save, you can choose to use this. And like Shield, it lasts the entire round. But the resistance is just to that triggering damage type. You also get a bonus where the first time you hit with a melee attack on your turn, the target takes extra 1d6 damage of the triggering damage type. And the last of the big three, and this one's the most infamous out of everybody, it's also less cast on shield and absorb elements, funnily enough. But it's still crazy broken. It's Silvery Barbs. It's usually used to deny crits or force somebody to fail a saving throw, and they have to use the lowest roll. This isn't disadvantage, it's a reroll, so it stacks. And if multiple people cast Silvery Barbs on that specific turn, the spells all stack with each other because the spell itself is instantaneous. On top of that, afterwards, you give a friend advantage on the next attack roll, ability check, or saving throw it makes within 1 minute. For a really deep dive into the math of this spell, check out this video. When this came out, people were losing their minds. Honorable mentions is Chronal Shift. It's kind of like Silvery Barbs, but not as strong. I also remember when that came out, I thought that was broken too. Counterspell, you know what it does. It's expensive and it got nerfed recently, so. And then you've got Arcane Deflection and Flash of Genius. You get the point, let's just quickly move on. Some features don't cost reactions themselves, which makes them excellent for comboing. Favored by the Gods from Divine Soul Sorcerer is a classic one. It boosts saves after reacting. And then there's the Lucky Feats and Heroic Inspiration. They're stackable with important saves. You know what they do, everybody does. Okay, Gator, I see you're falling asleep. Here's the important part.
Kobold, I'm not falling asleep.
Yes, you are. I can see you. Anyways, when you get an opportunity to react, you need to answer a few questions. Now, obviously, you don't want to hold up the entire fight, so think proactively about how you might use your reaction in the coming round. 1. Will someone go down if I don't react? If a party member goes down, your party's effectiveness drops dramatically, and you risk a death spiral, especially if they're concentrating on a really important spell. Preventing this can be more effective than healing afterwards, but not always. Some examples are Silvery Barbs on a crit from a powerful enemy, or Chronal Shift on a failed saving throw against Disintegrate. 2. Will someone be hit by a devastating condition? Conditions like unconscious, stunned, paralyzed, incapacitated, or petrified are usually just as bad as dropping to 0 HP. These also break concentration. Even minor conditions can be really annoying. Number 3. Will someone have to make a concentration check? This one's the most common reason to react. If you or your party member is concentrating, you want that spell up as long as you possibly can to get the most out of it. Number 4. Will someone take a lot of damage? Even if someone isn't concentrating, it can still be worth it to decrease the damage they take. One-shot mechanics does absolutely exist in this game. They might not be intentional, but they do happen from time to time. Now that's an extreme example. Generally, if someone's about to lose about more than half their HP, then it's absolutely worth it to use your reaction if you can. Number 5. Could I get more value later this round? If you're unsure, ask whether something worse might happen later. The dragon might get its breath weapon back, or an enemy caster might sling a random super powerful spell. As a better example, let's put you in a scenario. An ally is concentrating on Sleetstorm and has 2 sources of concentration protection. You know, Constitution, Proficiency, and Warcaster. And they take about 25 damage. Chances are very high they're going to make the saving throw for concentration. So it's smart to not react here, and instead conserve it for something more dangerous. And that's it. Now you know how to evaluate reactions, when to spend them, and when to hold back. And of course, you know what the best reactions are out there. Using reactions optimally isn't about doing something every round. It's about spending the right resources at the right time. End the video. By the way, don't forget to check out Kibble's Compendium of Airships and Artifacts. He makes really good stuff, so it's worth getting. Anyways, thank you for watching. Bye-bye!